No, this better work. Okay. Are we good now? Everything okay? I'm waving my hand from left to right to left to right as I'm talking. Is my audio synced up with my video? I hope so. Okay, is my... Nope, my avatar's not working. There we go. Now it should... There we go. Now it is. I can't get the Stream Elements UI to pull up the chat on stream. It's not able to pull it from the stream correctly. So we're just gonna have this blank space over here on the right side of the screen. But fuck it. I'm gonna say that's good enough. I can't get this. I can't. Oh wait, no. Okay, chat just randomly appeared. Okay, cool. I guess we have chat now. All right, so everything's working again. I guess. I would assume so. If you guys can hear me in chat, do let me know. Oh, looks like you guys can see me. Cool. So, we're back. Yes, we are. Okay. So, 20 minutes later, I think I finally have the stream sorted out. My internet connection has magically healed itself. There were some dropped frames at the beginning, but the number seems to be going down. Let me see if I can. Okay, we're at low latency already. That's good. Okay. I'm going to assume that we're good to go, and we're just going to start laying out the parts again. Sure. Yes, we are back, in fact, Manpig. I believe we are permanently back this time. Some of these runners are a little bit smushed. Little smushed. I don't think it's damaged or anything, though, so we should be fine. Now I take these, and I just stack them up. Stack them up like that. And I think the gray runners, I kept them back here. That's... Oh, random piece just fell off the runner. That here. Blue parts I'm going to put over here. Color parts set up here with the blue ones. The gray runners up here. And then the white runners over here. Okay, I think we're finally ready to begin. Oh, hey, my internet's back to 200 kilobytes. Lovely. Lovely. So there's nothing I can do about that on my side. That's just my internet service being absolutely fucked. We're just going to go ahead with the stream. I believe the way that the whole YouTube stream thing works is that even if the stream buffers during the live broadcast, the archive VOD of it will still be smooth. So I'm just gonna keep pushing forward at this point. We're gonna go ahead and finish the stream. And if it's just too much of a mess, you can just kind of check back on the VOD later, I guess. So welcome to stream, everyone. Thanks for putting up with a half hour of technical problems. So we are going to start today with the legs on the Special Forces Industry Sentinel. So we're going to be starting here with the feet. That's K8 and 9. Should probably put a segment in the kit review mentioning how this is an original design, because when people call it a ripoff, they can't agree. Yeah, that does seem to be a reoccurring theme. Okay. So there's the front of the feet. Now we have the heels. Been reading Moby Dick and finished the high-grade Gundam Mark II Titans Revive yesterday. Nice. I really like that kit. The Mark II is one of my favorite Gundam designs, and I really, really like how the high-grade looks. In terms of like the styling and proportions of it, it's pretty much the perfect Mark II for me. and I need A1. This can be one of these white pieces. I don't like the MG Mark II that much. It's got really weird proportions, especially around the face. The body looks odd too. And for the Mark II, it is really the proportions that sell it, and the Master Grade 2.0 just misses the mark on that. This shield piece is just hanging there by a thread. I'm just gonna straight up pull that off. Put it in the pile of loose parts that have fallen off the runners. Mark II has no bad kits, man, Pig, but none of them are as good as the high-grade Revive. Am I missing something? Nope, just those three. Okay. Just got the straight build footage and editing for my Strike Rouge video done today. Can't move on because I ran out of white paint. RIP. Well, wait a minute. It's a Strike Rouge. There's nothing to paint white on it. It's just that light pink color. Unless you're doing a different color scheme for it. The no grade 1/44th Mark II. I mean, no, I was gonna say something. There's no defending that. It's just a whack looking kit. It would be fun though if they with that new like revive remake / whatever you want to call it of the original 1/44th Gundam they're doing for the anniversary. It would be kind of cool if they did some of the other Gundams as well. Maybe like a Mark II. Maybe if they did like a Zaku or something. Oh, he's doing the Strike Rouge Kira colors. Yeah, I could see that. Literally just a Strike Gundam with different eyes. Oh, you need white to mix with the light pink. Okay, gotcha. Right. That is... I guess if you don't have the exact colors at hand, yeah, that would be kind of important. RG Sosby is a beast of a kit. Yes, it is. It definitely is. Bionicle Tangent still a thing for these streams. I've been seeing Lego YouTube videos on the Lego Bumblebee. Yes, I have seen that set. I have absolutely seen that set. I'm not as impressed by it as I am by the Optimus. I'm also a little surprised we're getting it at all, since I kind of... The Optimus Prime set kind of seemed like those one of those one and done things, where they just do it as a cool one-off, and that's just it. But I guess Lego was interested enough in the collab to make another set, so that was kind of interesting. It's really surreal now seeing how willing Hasbro is in the last couple years to license out their own brands to other toy companies. Like, you would never have seen this 5, 6, 7 years ago. You know, you got the Lego Transformers, but then there's also that Hot Wheels Optimus Prime they're doing, which is basically a Hasbro and Mattel collaborative product, which is insane. Like, that would be like telling someone from the early 1990s that Sega and Nintendo were making a video game together. Just unheard of. You would never have imagined that, but it's kind of just becoming a thing for Hasbro now. Like, from what I understand, pretty much the entire like American Power Rangers toy line from this point forward is going to be handled by Playmates, even though it's owned by Hasbro. Like, the entire brand is owned by Hasbro, but they're licensing it out to other toy companies, and they're working with other toy companies on brand collabs, and it's kind of they're in like a really odd place now where it almost seems like they're not like moving away from their own toy production, but they kind of seems like they're treating themselves almost more like a brand licensing company than an actual like production company for making things. Hasbro isn't really interested in being a toy company. I guess they did say something similar to that, didn't they? Where there was some quote where they're like, yeah, we don't consider ourselves a toy company anymore or whatever. It's really strange. And yeah, Hasbro did kind of bungle Power Rangers pretty hard. So this just pops down over. It looks like pretty standard foot construction. And it seems like whatever they're doing with Playmates is going to be very, very MMPR heavy, so yeah. And I wish like the Disney era Power Rangers that I grew up with got more love. You know, like SPD, Jungle Fury. RPM, what was that other? Oh yeah, Dino Thunder. Love Dino Thunder. I'm honestly impressed that Dino Thunder is like one of the few things from Lightning Collection that actually got a full team. So that was kind of cool. Flame Toys, that is true. The Flame Toys Transformer stuff did happen, definitely did happen a little bit before that. And I feel like Flame Toys was kind of one of Hasbro's earlier experiments with licensing out their brands to other companies. Because once they started doing the Flame Toys Transformers, like that wasn't the end of it. Like they kept going. They did Flame Toys G.I. Joe. They did Flame Toys Power Rangers. Like they seem to have a really good relationship with Flame Toys in terms of what the license out to them. Oh yeah, Reiji, the Bandai Super Sentai toys are always the way to go. It's been like that for like 20 years now. Even when Bandai of America was doing the American figures, it was just like you were buying basically just like officially licensed bootlegs of the Japanese figures. It's like they were making their own knockoffs of their own products. The plastic was cheaper, the paint was worse, they were undersized, they didn't have all the same features. Oh yeah, dude, Jungle Fury was awesome. I would love to see like one of those like Lightning Collection, or I guess Lightning Collection's kind of done now, but I really wish one of those like collector targeted figure lines would do just a full set of Jungle Fury Rangers with the Spirit Rangers. That would just be so cool. PR stuff is astronomically terrible compared to Sentai. Unfortunately, I have the American, I think they call it like the Legacy Megazord or the Legendary Megazord or something like that. It was like their own really crappy version of Gokaiyo, and I got it because I couldn't afford a Gokaiyo at the time, but every time I look at that thing, I'm like, man, I probably should have just gotten the Gokaiyo. And I still want to at some point. That's one of the few Sentai mecha that I really want to make sure I grab at some point, because not only do I like the design, it's also like one of 3 Super Sentai shows that I've actually seen. This is just a rumor, but apparently the people making the Transformers model kits were Dragon Momoko. I don't buy that at all. There's Flame Toys and Dragon Momoko are not the same company. There's a 0% chance that there's any overlap in staff, that there's any connection whatsoever between those two. That's just not possible. And no, Sentai does not do good character figures, which is really weird that because Sentai is very much just as much a kids toy line merchandise pushing product in Japan as Power Rangers is in America, and yet an entire category of product they could be making, they just kind of don't do. Like you look on like Mandarake or Yahoo auctions for Sentai toys, and you see all sorts of changers, you see all sorts of weapons, you see all sorts of mecha, and then like a couple vinyl figures of the actual characters. Since Spirit Rangers are strictly American, it's even nicher than usual. Yeah, I was hoping with the Lightning Collection line, they'd go even harder into the American unique stuff. Like, you know, give us like a Titanium Ranger, give us the Spirit Rangers. But they didn't really seem to go that route. They just did MMPR over and over and over. So, next up after the feet, we're going to want to do the kneecaps. Interesting to be putting the kneecaps on before the rest of the leg armor. I guess they kind of layer in underneath it. Oh, you're talking about Yolo Park. I thought you were talking about Flame Toys with the Transformers kits. I don't think Yolo Park is Dragon Momoko either. Yeah, run that nostalgia in the ground. That's what the fans want. Yeah, that's the thing with Power Rangers is there has literally been a yearly iteration of Power Rangers for like 30 years, and yet one of them is the only one that they ever make any kind of merch for. It would be like if Gundam had been running as long as it had, but they only still to this day made 0079 stuff. And that was like all they did, except for like every once in a while we'd get like a Strike Gundam or something. Which one is the L runner? I think it's the One of the blue runners, I believe. No, that's J. Probably a gray runner. Yeah, it's one of these gray runners. Okay. What parts do I need? I need 11. No, 16 and 18. 16 and 18. Okay. The USA has huge G1ing bias in every franchise. Yeah, they kind of do. They kind of do. Or also they have a very heavy like 80s and 90s bias. Which just happens to be where the G1 of most franchises came from. I love how my Bumblebee Lego set comment tangent and PR. Yeah, that's just what these streams are like, man. You can't force the Bionicle tangent. You can't come in here saying, "Hey, I'm going to tangent about Lego Transformers," because if you do that, we're going to end up talking about Power Rangers. That's just how it goes. You cannot control the tangents. Pokemon, Power Rangers, Transformers, you name it. I mean, I feel like Pokemon rather does a decent-ish job of spreading out the love beyond just Gen 1. Like, sometimes, yeah, you can tell there's a little bit of a bias towards it, but especially when it comes to the merch and stuff, they do seem to be fairly even with their distribution of which gens they focus on. Which I do kind of appreciate. You want to know Dragon Momo car? You can just ask me, Eastern model. It's so hard to tell with these Chinese companies, man. For all we know, the entire third-party Chinese model kit industry is just 5 guys in a warehouse just using different company names. Like, there's no actual competition. It's just the same guys. It's just one guy. It's literally just one guy who makes these, like, in the factory after hours when he's done working on Bandai kits. Where's the other nub? There's one there. I just trimmed that. And there's one there. Okay. The side and the bottom. I have no direct source in terms of reporting, but the place I heard of was a Chinese one. Okay. I mean, I guess anything's possible, you know, they are... It's possible for the same company to have like different brand names they use for different types of products. But then again, you know, what is a company? Like, it's just a officially organized business, so it could just be that, you know, my comment about it being the same 5 guys in a warehouse might actually not be that far off base, and Dragon Momoko might literally just be a couple of people, and those couple of people also work for another company. I don't think they care about brand names or brand history retention. We have like 20 brand names that are probably 4 companies working out of 2 factories, and one does bootlegs, so they trash and shuffle names to hide from... Yeah, that's extremely likely. Only so many capable mold sculptors? Yeah, that too. They said it's the same factory staff. Okay, that I can believe. There's a lot of factory staff overlap between different companies. That I can 100% I can see. That would not surprise me at all. Is that where this goes? Oh, I see what they're doing here. Oh, that's neat. That's a really neat... Whoop. Completely effed up my camera there. Trying to get my focus to hit the piece here, but the wraparound piece here, they could have just done this, and it would have been fine. It would have been fine, but they decided, no, we're going to make a backing cover plate to cover the entirety of the kneecap. So the gray section goes all the way around. They just had to give it that extra attention to detail. More like those 5 guys with talent end up getting hired in an official sense for another company. Yeah, I can see that. Essentially just said the same thing the Chinese restaurants in the US do. Location will change into a new Chinese restaurant. I mean, I think that's more of a franchising thing, right? Like isn't there like a company that handles like the management of like a lot of those Chinese restaurants? Because it oftentimes seems like they're all kind of the same place. Like they have the same branding, the same menus, the same food items. Like there's some sort of unification between them. Legal or not, DM kit designers are talented designers. Yes, they were. The next 2 kits I'm planning to build are the HGs for Garibaldi and the Infinite Justice Revive. Nice. That Infinite Justice is a really cool kit. That's a really, really cool kit. This just goes on here with one more piece off the L runner. 11. That's this one. Once you get used to the schizo numbering patterns, it's pretty easy to find parts on these runners. Man, this kit is actually pretty fun to build when you're not making fingers. Picked up the HG Savior for like 15 bucks. Nice. Yeah, the high-grade Savior kit is... I mean, it's an old seed high-grade, so it's not going to be that great, but I saw something that someone did that looked really, really nice, where they took the Immortal Justice from the new Seed Freedom line, and they basically kit bashed the backpack with the backpack of the Savior Gundam, and it went together flawlessly. It looked like the wings were literally made for it. He basically took the wings and the cannons from the Savior, and he sort of attached them to the little backpack armatures that the Immortal Justice's wings go on, and it looked super good. So there is some kit bashing potential there. I haven't seen the Seed Freedom movie yet. No, I'm probably going to watch it either tonight or tomorrow. Bro's watching Freedom Without Seed or Destiny. No, I'm watching Freedom Without Destiny. I've seen Seed. And like I think I might have said this last time, but I kind of know the Destiny storyline because I've played some of the games that contain the plot of Destiny and like have a story mode campaign for it, so I'm not completely foreign to the concept of Gundam Seed Destiny. Would one day like to pick up the old No Grade 100? Yeah, the No Grade 100 Savior is a pretty nice kit. It's crazy how much better those 1/100s were than the high grades. Like, you might think, oh yeah, surely there's gonna be a little bit of improvement, but the crazy thing is, it wasn't even like an improvement in terms of like complexity or color separation. They just straight up did a better job sculpting the 1/100s. You look at the high grades and they've got these weird proportions. They just look completely whack. They got giant feet, weird looking heads, giant shoulders, and then you look at the 1/100s and they look basically perfect. And it's like, wow, they could have done the exact same thing with the high grades, but they like went out of their way. They went out of their way to make the high grades look worse so people would buy the 1/100s instead. Sure, guys, you can finish Seed itself. Fair enough then. No, I eventually went back and I finished Seed, unfortunately. It's just Destiny is the one that I haven't personally directly firsthand seen. The HDs were line art accurate, the 100s were screen accurate. Yeah, the 100s came out much better in that regard. Like, they're still not great by a modern standpoint. Like, the heads are a little... The faces are a little derpy looking, which is oftentimes one of the big limitations with those older kits, but overall, proportions-wise, they're pretty good-looking kits. The Seed line art is known to be trash. Yeah, Okawara was... Okawara comes up with some good Gundam designs, but... And I don't want to be too harsh to him, but whenever I see, like, Okawara's actual original line art, it makes me go, man, if he can be a mechanical designer, I can be a mechanical designer. 22 and 23. Ah, yes, the piece is attached by a singular gate point. It's why people, yeah, it's why people prefer the revived proportions. The strike especially looks absolutely bizarre. Like most of the Seed high grades have weird proportions, but I feel like the strike got it the worst out of the lot. Ever since the Eclipse manga, every mecha out of Seed to me looks like either a Build Fighters reject or something more fitting in Power Rangers. I did think that the Rising Freedom at first did look more like a build suit, but once I got more used to it, I started to really like it. Poirot's a great artist, but sometimes makes bad art. He was literally the first one back then. Everything was crude. Yeah, it's... You go further back in time and the standards are a lot lower. Like, look at how basic something like Mazinger Z is. But at the time, that was cool as hell because that was the super robot. Where do I settle that down? That's okay. Some of the worst Okawara art is deliberately done in retro style. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Where do you go? Wait, right? Yeah. Little sliver of color. Yes, a little bit of color detail there. Seed's visual identity is carried by Shigeta. Yes, it is. That's what most modern figures replicate. Yeah, that's very true. Except for specifically the Aegis robot spirits for some reason. I don't think I've seen the Aegis robot spirits. I didn't pay super close attention to the Gundam Seed anime figures just because they weren't as interesting to me as the UC ones. Now I need G parts, which I think is going to be a gray runner. Right. Oh. Oh, it's the light gray piece. Okay. So... there's the 4s. Recently read Silhouette F91 and it's Okawara at his best. I've not read any of the F91 adjacent manga. I really need to get on that. I just checked out the local comic shop website. Apparently they got the MG Musha and Strike Noir. Awesome. Those are both really cool kits. Thirteen and 14. There they are. Oh, hey, MJ, you just missed about half an hour of technical problems followed by half an hour of building legs. It's been pretty chill. It's been pretty relaxing. We talked about American Power Rangers and the way that Hasbro is like licensing out their brands to other companies now. We talked about Okawara and how jank his line art looks, and how much of the visual identity of Gundam Seed comes from the animation designer instead. Usual Channel 2S stream stuff. Ref 91, he probably had more time and money, made some beauties. Yeah, there's some really nice looking designs from that era. That part. Dying to get the Strike Noir for so long, it makes the Strike look cool. Yeah, I really wish we'd get an updated Strike Noir on the remaster body. It's a really cool kit, and it's just chock full of fun gimmicks. It's just one of those Gundams where, like the Crossbone or the 00 Riser, where it just does just everything. Every part of it has some sort of cool gimmick built in. Every weapon, he's got all these different weapon options and all these effect parts. It's just a really, really cool model. And a lot of fun. Yeah, Okawara's the proportions are jank. The faces always look really weird, and the posing is bizarre too. Like the way that Okawara poses his line art is just strange. And like it's iconic, but it's iconic because he's been continuously doing it for so long. If someone just showed up now and started drawing like Okawara, people would go, "What the heck is wrong with this guy?" And then it looks better in the show because they don't follow it. Yeah. I was surprised when I really started digging around and realized how little Okawara actually designed outside of original Gundam. Like, I always assumed he did a fair bit of Zeta Gundam, but apparently the only stuff that he really directly designed was the Hyzak and the Gundam Mark II. Because he didn't do the new Gundam or Sotheby or pretty much anything as far as I remember from Char's Counterattack. He didn't do much of anything from War in the Pocket or Stardust Memory. They brought him back for the Gundams in G Gundam and Wing TV, but then all the grunt suits were designed by other people. And even then, I don't think Okawara designed all the Gundams from G Gundam. Yeah, Zeta Gundam had a lot of designers, and it had a lot of designers for each mobile suit too, because there was a lot of people they brought on and off of the product, on and off of the project at different stages in production, rather. So, like the Zeta Gundam has like what 3 or 4 different designers basically because of how many people they brought in for it. Okawara's real type 21st century real type lines have good taste. Yeah, the color choices on some of those are pretty nice, and I also love the retro style box art. Even the Blue Justice. Yeah, the Blue Justice, the Green Freedom. Really weird color choices, doesn't really fit the real type theme, but as just color variants. They're kind of nice. It's like those. Do you remember when there was that period of time in Gundam 00 where we'd get designer colors versions of the kits, where for the 1/100 kits, and I think for the high grade 00 Riser as well, they would do just these kind of slight color variants of the Cherrim, the Ceravi, the Arios, the 00 Gundam. He had a hand in Blue Destiny. I think he did have a hand in Blue Destiny. Yeah, he designed the ground Gundam itself and the Blue Destiny variants. But then the EZ-8 was actually designed by someone else, and the Goof Custom was designed by someone else. If I remember correctly, I think Katoki did the Goof Custom, so that's basically like a Goof Fur Ka kind of. And then I can't remember his name, but believe it or not, the guy who made the EZ-8 is the same guy who's making the Gundam from Requiem for a Vengeance. So even though the EX Gundam looks like this crazy new, over-designed, hyper-Americanized version of the EZ-8, it's actually made by the exact same guy who did the original EZ-8. And I think the only reason that there's such an extreme difference between them is just because the EX is probably how he draws normally. Because I remember there was like an interview or something with the director for Requiem for a Vengeance, and I think he mentioned, or maybe it was an interview with the designer, but one of those people mentioned that the Gundam EX was basically just the first draft for the Gundam. The designer brought it to the director with the expectation that he was going to have some criticisms and refinements for it, but he just said, that looks amazing, we're putting it in the show. So we probably got to look at what the EZ-8 would have looked like if Bandai didn't have any sort of feedback or comments regarding the design. They really need to revive the MG Goof Custom. Yeah, I mean, it'd be a really easy kit to do. I've joked about the EX looks like a melting EZ-8. It's not even melting, it's like a Michael Bay Transformers EZ-8. So where's the angle on these? I think I start with this one. Yeah, the little yellow vent goes backwards. Okay. I gotta say, there were a couple parts that fit together badly on the torso. And there was a couple seam lines in the arms that I had to squeeze pretty hard to get rid of. But that aside, and those terrible hands, when the build process on this isn't bad, it's very satisfying. Like, everything just like pushes together, it snaps together, it feels really nice, the fitment is good. The feel in your hands of the completed part is really nice because it's got that metallic heft, but you have that slightly rough matte texture on the parts too. It's a very satisfying kit to look at and to hold. So how do these go on? There's definitely an order to them. So it would seem. I guess we'll pop these on here as well. There we go. In fact, the Goof 2.0 wasn't retooled and the Goof Custom is baffling. Yeah, it would have been a really easy retool for them to do. I guess they just didn't want to remake the ground Gundam from scratch to go with it. Have I seen the third-party GPO1, the Solomon kit? Yes, I have. That is a insanely cool-looking model. Nope, that is the correct side. Try a different. Okay, that sits flush. That sits flush. And that fits flush. So then this needs to go here. Okay. And this goes here. That one in particular. Be a little stubborn. Try again. There we go. I think it was just a problem with the part. Okay. So, GP series needs brand new high grades. Man, GP series needs new everything. That whole lineup is just due. They are due and overdue. Goof 1.0 is based on a redesign. Yeah, I guess it was. A lot of those early master grades, they kind of the whole gimmick of, hey, it's a big model kit of a Gundam that's all detailed on the inside was kind of new. So they kind of redesigned them a little bit. And that goes across the board, not just for the Goof. The Zaku, the Gundam, the 1.0 master grades of all of those have a really unique look to them. There's cooler stuff out there than the GP Gundam's Dadcat, sure, but oh, that's why this piece isn't going in anywhere. Because there's a nub on it. There we go. Perfect. There we go. Legs are starting to come together. 1.0 was rooted in 8th MS Team and Igloo redesigns? Not really, because Igloo wasn't a thing when the 1.0s came out. They came out in 95. In fact, 8th MS Team wasn't a thing in 95 either, so that really doesn't hold up. The 0080 kits needing updates? I don't know about that. Oh, wait, do you mean the high grades? Yeah, okay, if you're talking about the high grades, I agree. I was still thinking MG, and I was like, well, we got a new Alex. The Camphor's not great, but it's, like, okay-ish. And there's not much else from War in the Pocket at 1/100 scale, so... I'm assuming you're talking about high grades, and yeah. They have the mold for the GM Sniper too, so it wouldn't be hard for them to kind of backtool that into a modern GM command type. Just got my Solomon GPO2, nice. Back to the only good options is the Robot Spirits anime is a pain. Yeah, but at least the Robot Spirits anime is out there. I do appreciate that line for giving us some really nice figures of the Stardust memory suits, even if they aren't model kits. Double Zeta lineup's almost done. Double Zeta lineup's pretty far from done. They still need to do the Gazaum. They still need to do the Gallus J. They still need to do the Gaymalk. They still need to do the Queen Mansa. They still need to do the Dwage and Dwage Customus high grades. There's a lot of stuff, and the Desert Zaku. And the Cop Pool. There's tons of stuff they still need to do from Double Zeta. Think we'll ever get PG New in Sosby? I don't think we'll get a PG Sosby, but I think PG New is basically an inevitability. In fact, if we ever get another PG Unleashed after the Gundam, which I doubt, but in case we ever do get one, it's probably going to be the new Gundam. Yeah, we have MGGM Command. I'm talking about the high grade. As in taking the HGUC GM Sniper 2 mold and making an updated version of the HGUC GM command type out of that new mold. We don't have a 144th Phase. No, we don't. MG Zaku 2 Kai, never going to happen. They've made the Re 100. They're not going to go back and make that as an MG. Honestly, I forgot half those Neo Zeon suits. Yeah, dude, there's a ton of Neo Zeon suits in Double Zeta, and most of them look really cool, and we've got high grades of almost none of them. Gaza D. Gaza D is another one we don't have, so there's a lot they still need to get through from Double Zeta. We did a real great... Oh, dude, real great XS would be awesome. HGGM Sniper 2 is kind of dated. Yeah, but it's not as dated as the high-grade GM Commander type. PGU is just a one-off. Extremely likely, yeah, but if on the off chance, maybe for some other anniversary, like the 50th anniversary or something, if they decide to bring back the PG Unleashed branding, I could see them doing it for a new Gundam. And the Jianru Fin, that's another one. Yeah, but hey, look, if we can get a Boundock as a high grade, we can absolutely get a Jianru Fin as a high grade. They seem to be entirely okay with making those weird-looking mobile suits from the Zeta era. Command gets more reprints than Sniper 2. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Even though it's old, it's still a really nice model. They didn't change a ton about it for the GM Spartan, and that's an awesome kit. I don't think. Let me double check my Spartan. Okay, never mind. They actually did change a lot of the joints on it. I was gonna say it's pretty much unchanged, but they improved quite a bit on the Spartan, so that's not a fair comparison. Dirt cheap, so lots of people buy them. Oh yeah. That's why like every hobby store all the time seems to have an HGUC GM in stock. Even though it's an old as dirt kit, it's like $9, so just everyone buys one anyways. People buy multiples, they use them to practice painting, practice seam welding, scribing. Masami Obari mentioned on his Twitter he really wanted an HG Queen Mansa. Yes, I saw that. Man, if Obari himself can't get a Queen Mansa made, no one can. GM Spartan used the Sniper 2 frame with improvements. Yes, it does, MJ, but they added a lot of improvements. I seem to remember there being very few actual runners from the Sniper 2 when I built it. Okay, so we do the shins and the ankle guards now. Bandai must really hate the cop pool. The Momo cop pool's right there. Not only is the Momo cop pool right there, it literally says cop pool on some of the runners. They pre-tooled the runners for the cop pool, and they've done nothing with them. And it's not just a double Zeta suit, it's a double Zeta suit and a Turn A Gundam suit. And not only that, it's basically one of the only things from Turn A Gundam outside of the Gundam itself that's actually popular enough to justify getting an HGUC kit. And they've done nothing with it. Just no cop pool at all. Can't wait for that third-party PG Tallgeese coming out. Yeah, that looked like a really cool kit. I'm probably not going to pick one up myself just because it's giant and I don't really have a reason to have a giant Tallgeese, but it does look like a nice model for what it is. Here we go. This is the ankle guard. Pretty sure the double Zeta cop pool is much bigger than the Turn A. I don't think there's a size difference between them. I think they're the same cop pool, right? Like the cop pool from double Zeta is the cop pool from Turn A. They're the same machine as far as I know. It is... Wait, there's a size difference between them? That's bizarre. The cop pool is larger than the cop pool. That's really weird. So they wouldn't... I don't know. I could still see Bandai maybe reusing the mold for both of them. Hang on. I feel like I need to look this up now. I'm amazed the full armor double Zeta Gundam from the anime hasn't shown up in high grades, nor the armor that comes with the fast redecorated anime colors. Yeah, would have been a really easy P Bandai kit. There's a few retooled parts and a new color scheme, and that's it. That's all it would have taken for them to make a full armor double Zeta Verka. This needs somebody to make an MG... Oh, dude. I would love an MG Atlas Gundam. That is such a cool design. Psycho Mark III is only from obscure game remembered by Americans. Yeah. And I discovered recently, interesting thing about Gundam Battle Assault. The American version of the game and the Japanese version of the game are actually not completely different, but they're very, very different games. So the American version basically has a completely different story mode and completely different voice. I don't know if it had voice lines or not, but they basically reworked the game so that it used the canon pilots from the anime. But the original game Gundam Battle Masters that was released in Japan had an entirely new cast of characters. So they had these like kind of SD Gundam G Generation style original character pilots for all the mobile suits in the roster, and only the American version switched them out for the official pilots. So Battle Masters is very different in that regard. But yes, that game is the only place, not the only place, I think it's shown up in some G-Gen games as well, but it's the origin point of the Psycho Gundam Mark III, so I find it highly, highly, highly unlikely we'd ever see any sort of modern model kit of that. Here's hoping we get... Dude, I would love to see MG Return X reprints. That's an awesome kit, and it sucks that it's just not available. Like, that's one of the things that's so frustrating about Gundam is 99% of the time, they do a good job of keeping their best kits in production, but then sometimes you get something like the Turn X where it's just this awesome model, it's really cool, it's really unique, and they just never reprint it. The last time they reprinted it, I think, was right in the middle of the big COVID rush where everyone was scalping up every kit they could find, so as soon as it hit the market, it basically immediately evaporated. They even made it a Gundam-based limited kit, and that didn't stop people from scalping it. If anything, it made it worse. MG Faz is a spare parts boondoggle, and then modding that kit slightly to make the base FAZZ would be even worse. Yeah, but I feel like Bandai doesn't care too much about how many spare parts are left over. Like, remember those Master Grade Zaku's they did for the different commander colors, where sometimes they would include like 2 copies of each runner in different colors just so they could get the color scheme right, and you had like 3/4 of a Zaku's worth of leftover parts. It's like the Ultron, the Aegis Gundam, they made the molds for Build Divers and Re-Rise, but just won't pull the trigger. Yeah, and at this point, when we get an Ultron high-grade kit, it is not going to use anything from that Build Divers mold. They are 100% going to base it off the body that they're using for the newer Gundam Wing kits. They're not going to use any parts from the Geon Ultron. And even for the Aegis as well, the Aegis Knight, it's so different looking from the Aegis that I can't see them using much from it. HG Aegis Knight uses the Infinite Justice frame. Okay, that's what I thought. That makes sense, because it really doesn't look that much like the Aegis. Battle Masters is where the Psycho Mark III came from. And honestly, I would say that the Psycho Gundam Mark III has less of a chance of getting made than the Gundam Mark IV. And the Gundam Mark IV is from like an SDG Gen game. But honestly, with it having appeared in Battle Operation? Yeah, with it having appeared in Battle Operation 2, with the Mark V being as popular as it is, and them having also made the Mark III, I could actually kind of maybe see Bandai doing a Mark IV kit as a P Bandai. Issue is right now they're overproducing the popular stuff, but in Japan it's scalping hell, so even the popular stuff's in demand. Yeah, it's crazy the market differences between America and Japan in terms of what sells out. Build Divers Aegis is not a retoolable design. Not really, no. Wasn't Ultron based on the Shenlong? The Geon Ultron kit was based on the high-grade After Colony Wing Gundam. It used the joints from that kit, even had leftover parts for the rifle, and I don't think any of the other Wing high grades did that. So I think if we did get an Ultron at this point, it would be based off the Shenlong HGAC kit and not the Build Divers Geon Ultron. That is $130. They care. Producing extra runners, extra parts on runners that they've already tooled aren't that big of a cost for Bandai. Like, the cost of the actual raw plastic to injection mold a kit is next to nothing. Like, it's really, really insignificant next to the cost of tooling the runners and engineering the kit. So if they have the runners already and there's a few leftover parts on it, it's really kind of a negligible cost for them. So even if a kit has a lot of leftover pieces, it's not like it's gonna, you know, financially damage the kit at all when they release it. I had a chance to buy the Turn X for normal retail when I was just starting back in the hobby during the pandemic. I didn't know. Oh yeah, dude, you should have picked that up. Should have picked it up. The Mark IV is a manga now? Okay, yeah, that makes it even more likely then. Mark V is also the main Gundam in the Werewolf manga. Okay, so that's where it's showing up. I'd want an HG over... Oh, dude, yeah, I would love an HG Overon kit. That'd be really neat. Although the thing with the Overon is that the accessories and stuff for it are so big, I don't know if they'd want to commit to that for a manga-only thing. What I noticed is Bandai is like a top 33% and a top 66% of lines kits from each line they always reprint. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so I need the A runner as well. Could have sworn some of the runners in BD Ultron were Ultron specific. They might have been, but I do know that I know a lot of the runners were Geon Ultron. A couple of the runners were Wing Gundam. I don't remember if any specifically said Ultron, as in like just Ultron. Some of them say Ultron, as far as I remember. My memory is fuzzy. It is possible, but then again, that doesn't. It's not like that locks Bandai into absolutely. You know, they must use those runners if they make a new Ultron. Like at this point, seeing as making new high grades for the Wing Gundams was barely even a consideration in Bandai's mind at the time they made the Geon Ultron. I think it's probably pretty unlikely they would reuse anything from that kit if they made an Ultron at this point. Like I don't think they made that kit with the current engineering and build style of the wing kits in mind. Yes, it has been years. Build Divers came out in. Hold on, I need to make sure I make people feel the correct amount of old when I say this. The original Build Divers is, I believe, from 2017. I think I might be wrong, though. It might be 18. Either way, that is a very long time ago. That is... Wow, that might actually be the worst nub placement I've seen on this kit. So there's a gate connection right next to this recessed detail. So the nub itself is basically sitting right in this groove. So you have to somehow scoop the little bit of the gate out of this gap here in the part, because this is an intentional part of the detail. So you can't get rid of this ridge here, but you have to somehow shave this down without doing that. So that's probably the only real like bad nub that I've seen on this so far. Because I have yeah, I don't even know how I'd fix that. I guess I could kind of cut down towards the part, kind of like that. That's a little better. A little better. 2018. Okay, it was 2018. Yeah, Build Divers is really where my apathy with the build style kit started, because Build Fighters was awesome. Build Fighters Try was not as awesome, but you could tell they were still trying, pun intended. And then there was the OVAs after that, and those were pretty decent-ish for what they were, but eventually once they started going to Divers, it was like, man, you could just tell at this point they're kind of phoning it in. We need some of the Mara size from Zeta Define. I mean, if it's just a recolor, I guess it's possible. And hey, if we can get the Advance of Zeta version of the Hyzak, maybe we can get the Define version of the Marasai. I feel like anything I try to do to remove this nub just makes it worse. Build Divers is mediocre. Build Divers was basically... The best way I can put it is Build Divers is what everyone thought Build Fighters was going to be before Build Fighters started airing. It is the bog standard, generic kids show to sell model kits that doesn't really do anything exciting or interesting or special. It is exactly what everyone thought Build Fighters was going to be before Build Fighters exceeded everyone's expectations. Yeah, Red Beret was awesome, and honestly, a lot of the models from original Build Fighters are really, really good. I like a lot of the Build Fighters kits, but the show itself was just, man. Remember when 24 episodes was a small series in which for Mercury made a standard? I mean, it's kind of just standard for anime in general now. Drivers to me was plain white rice. Yeah, it really is. Liked a lot of the Re-Rise kits and loved the show, but the OG Divers and series suck. I thought the Divers kits are great. There's some really, really good kits in Divers. The problem with Re-Rise is that you better hope you like the Core Gundam and the gimmick of the Planet Armors, because that is like 75% of the line. And if you don't like the Core Gundam gimmick, then there's like 4 kits in the line that are made for you. And that's basically it. Like, once you look at the line, you start removing things that are Core Gundams or Planet Armors or like the Alice Core Gundam or other sort of adjacent parts of that whole gimmick system. You're basically just left with the two Night Gundams, the Wadom. I think the New Zeon was Re-Rise as well. Then you got the Race 10, but that was kind of just a leftover from the first season. You got a couple SDs. Like, it's really not as... It's not as impressive a model selection once you cut out the Planet Armor stuff. Fine's all about reportioning. It's like a midway between Zeta and Advance of Zeta. Okay, I haven't actually read the Define manga before. I haven't even seen much of it as far as like screen captures and stuff from it, but... The only redesign from Zeta Define that I'm familiar with is the red version of the Hyakushiki. Build Fighters is way better than it had any right to be. Yeah, Build Fighters... I thought that, oh, I just have nostalgia for that show, so I went back and I rewatched some of it recently. That show is so freaking good. That show... probably should not have been as good as it was, because it really did set an unrealistic standard for basically every Build series that came out after it. Like, man, you can't top Build Fighters. Oh, I think that goes underneath. Yes, it does. Apparently there's a Chinese fin funnel set for the EG Gundam. Interesting. Cool. Re-Rise had that awesome Gundam based off the Mark III BP Bandai. If you're talking about the Celt Sam, I don't think the Celt Sam was P Bandai. I think the Celt Sam was retail, and then the Mark III was P Bandai. Zero Shiki red and Zero Shiki Amuro color. Yeah, those were the ones that I saw. I think you go here, right? Bend it. There we go. There we go. Really weird choice to put that on after the kneecap. Era? Oh, now we put on the vents. Okay. The order that some of these parts are assembled in is really weird. I think that's more so just a failing of the instruction manual than the actual kit itself, though. And it's not like it makes it unbuildable, it's just the order that things go together in is not necessarily the one that would make sense. Like putting on the kneecap and then trying to squeeze this other piece under it, or putting all of this stuff on and then coming back and doing the vents, when you'd probably do the vents as you're putting these on if this was a Bandai kit. Rectifying had Emma sexually assault Camille. What? Okay, that's something, I guess. They were in the lab and then the kitchen when they made OG Build Fighters. Yeah, they really were. Character and world building was amazing. The score was oh, dude, I adore the Build Fighters soundtrack. That is incredible. Score is exciting. The story had stakes. The overall struck a balance between advertising and storytelling. Yeah, they did not need to go as hard as they did on Build Fighters, but they did. They went all the way. They went all the way. The Mark III was P Bandai while Celtium was retail. Yeah, that's what I thought. Build Fighters model line was strong since the new designs were fairly close to their bases, so they could just make super easy retools of MGs. Yeah, they kind of dropped the whole MG thing after the first series. That was not something they really continued. Even for Try, all they gave us was the Amazing Red Warrior. Then Divers just got the H2 Magnum, which I continuously forget exists until I occasionally get reminded of it again. Gundam Build Fighters is well done school game battle anime that happened to be Gundam. Yeah, it totally fits that tournament anime archetype, and it's so much fun. And honestly, one of my favorite styles of anime is when they take like the sports tournament kind of genre archetype and they apply it to like some real dumb shit that shouldn't actually be a sport or a game, but they take it as seriously as they would an actual sport. That's like one of my favorite things to see in anime. Like Food Wars, right? Where you have the tournament cooking. Love that manga. Or that one anime that was about the girls like smashing their butts into each other, but it was treated like a super serious competitive sport. You can make literally anything work with that genre as long as you like you play it straight, right? You just have it like everyone in universe takes it seriously as a competition, and then no matter how stupid it is, you take it seriously as a competition. Nine times the flamenco intensifies. Yeah, dude. Like, track after track in that soundtrack is just legendary. I want the Magnum purely because I adore the H2. It is a really nice-looking H2 variant. Wish I was into Gundam earlier to experience the birth of Build Fighters. Can't imagine what it's like for people experiencing such a new take on Gundam for the first time. That was right about when I got into Gundam, I think. I think I was made aware of Gundam before Build Fighters, but I didn't really get into Gundam until when Build Fighters was coming out. And I really, really liked that series at the time. Metaverse was a soulless mistake. Yeah, Metaverse was just pure advertisement. And it's just, man, it's just sad. Like, maybe it is better at this point if they just give the Build series a rest. You know, maybe give us like use like Gundam Breaker as the branding for like these retooled kit designs, and just don't do another Build style anime for like 5 or 6 years. Just let it rest and then come back to it when you got some good ideas. Really wish I could experience the GBF boom again. Yeah, it was so much fun. You can never tell me Build Fighters Build series has stakes. Literally the only one with stakes was Re-Rise, but they end up killing the furries anyways. No, the stakes in original Build Fighters was that your model that you spent hundreds of hours working on might get destroyed if you lose the battle. And then they completely undermine that in Build Divers because it's all just happening in an MMO video game, so it doesn't actually matter. Keijo's Peak, shame we won't get any more. Yeah, that was fun. That was a special kind of fun. Re-Rise was great, but once they started to give a real explanation behind the furry world, it fell off a bit. I mean, Re-Rise's twist impressed me only because I was like so psychologically beaten into submission by watching the entirety of Build Fighters and then the first half of Re-Rise, that what was really honestly probably not even that remarkable of a plot twist completely blindsided me, just because it's like if you're eating like just plain oatmeal a day for multiple years, and then one day you find a raisin in one of them and you're like, wait, what's this? This is unexpected and kind of cool. but in reality, it's just a raisin, you know? Build Divers Re-Rise is just a normal Gundam series. It's got genocide, super weapon, space battles, every character having a proper story arc and character growth. Yeah, it's by Build Divers standards, it's pretty good. I just think it gets a little bit, because the bar was set so low before it, I think it got a lot bigger of a reaction than it might have necessarily deserved. Gundam to random Build Fighters Try episodes on YouTube. IBO Season 1 just finished, so I started binging Build Fighters and Build Fighters Try. Yeah, man, that's why Gundam Info exists. The YouTube to Gunpla pipeline is real. We also got... Oh, I forgot about that Build Fighters Real show. I never even watched that. I wonder if it's still up on Gundam Info. That would be a fun one to try and see if I could somehow react to on stream. I had to figure out some way to like sync it up with like a timer or something so I don't have to actually show the footage on screen. Re-Rise feels like another mecha and would have worked better as an isekai type thing like Escaflowne. Yeah, it could have just been, like... It does feel sometimes like with Gundam, we're getting, like, completely unrelated mecha anime scripts that just had the Gundam logo slapped on them because they couldn't get made otherwise. Build Real is mid. Yeah, I'm not surprised. A Stray No Names pilot arc had quite a lot of missed potential. Some of the heart and stakes of Gunpla battling was definitely lost. Yeah, that was like the one episode of Build Divers that got me excited, where I was like, wow, they actually made it feel like OG fighters again. I'm actually getting invested in this, and it was like a one-off. It was just a one-off thing. That was it. It was just a one-off little acknowledgement of, hey, we could make more Build Fighters, we could capture that same feeling, but fuck you, here's more divers anyways. So yeah, that was a little bit. Just a taste of what we could have had. Watch it again just to gather info on the Team Break Granddaddy and the main pro tag's just insufferable. I mean, is it at least entertaining bad? That's literally what... Yeah, that is exactly what G-Reco was. Tomino had some random Real Robot mecha anime script he wanted to do, and Sunrise said, hey, cool, we're gonna make this, but you're gonna put the word Gundam in front of the title. So, that just is how it is. Where? Oh yeah, Vents, right. Oh, 3 and 4. Divers is thick with references to obscure Gundam stuff. Yeah, but that's like the easiest thing you could possibly put in a show. Like, you can do that and also have a good show around it. I mean, Build Fighters was also chock full of references to everything. Anyone watch the G-Reco movies? I've not, but I'm intending to, as that is most likely the way that I'm going to consume G-Reco. I've never seen the show outside of the first, like, 2 episodes I think I watched before I dropped it. So I do want to watch the movies at some point, just so I can at least brute force my way through the G-Reco story and experience the cluster that it is. I guess Build Fighters is sort of an advertisement for RG. Build Fighters was an advertisement for Gunpla in general, and more specifically for the high-grade line. Waiting on a Build Gundam MG Dark Matter Exia reprint for the conversion kit. Yeah, there's a really cool conversion kit for that, but it does require the original model. Movie's the definitive version. Yeah, that's what it seems to be. It looked like it had very slightly better animation for some parts, and I would assume that Tomino probably went in and made some little adjustments to the story that he wanted to do. Where's the L runners? Oh, it's the gray runners again. 13 and 14. These little bits. Build Fighters didn't have the SD Gundam band. No, it didn't. It also didn't have the SD Gundam Force Reader Z as a server admin. Watched like 5 episodes of Greco. It's a thing I think personally don't remember much other than being confused. Yeah, that's the standard G-Reco watcher's experience. Fighters dropped in obscure designs like the King of Hearts. Yeah, and isn't it in like episode 2? Like really early on in the show, you see the G-Savior in like an in-game advertisement for Gundam Battle, and it immediately gets destroyed. The G-Reco kits were always dirt cheap online for the longest time. Yeah, and now they're like stupidly expensive because Bandai never reprints most of them. So a lot of kits they used to be able to get for like 400 yen are now going for like 8,000 or 9,000 because you can't get them anymore. So the 2 people that want them are going to have to pay a lot of money for them. You already say one of the main characters literally shouts out RG. For the RG system, yeah, but that was... I don't know if that was... I guess it would have kind of been a tie-in to the real grade line. I never understood if the implication was that he actually used a real grade strike frame for the build strike, or if it was just an in-universe name he used that happened to coincide with the actual name of the real grade. Because I don't actually think you ever see a real grade kit in the Build Fighters story. Like, I don't actually know if real grades exist in the Build Fighters universe. They might not. Because they show all these, like, B-roll shots in the show of, like, hobby stores, and you see, like, you know, kits lined up on the shelves. I don't think you ever see any real grades. So, little Build Fighters theory, anime theory here. Real grades might actually not exist in the Build Fighters universe. Already says it's a coincidence name, it's not a real grade. Okay, that's what I thought. The frame's like an MG. Yeah, they show the frame and it doesn't look like the real grade strike frame. In the USA, it doesn't matter how popular it is. If it's rare, it's $200. Yeah, it's not even the US, it's Japan. In Japan, even, the Reco kits go for crazy money. And it's funny because I always, somehow, some way, even though the G-Self Perfect Pack is literally reprinted on a bi-monthly basis, that thing gets put out, a new production run, 4, 5, 6 times a year. It's always available somewhere. They're always making more of them. And yet, on a monthly basis, I see people complaining about not being able to find a Perfect Pack and wanting a Perfect Pack and asking for more reprints of the Perfect Pack because it's rare. So, I don't know where all the Perfect Packs end up going, but clearly the people that want them aren't getting them. When Say uses the build strike, it says HG custom, not RG. Yeah, that's another good point, too. Probably are RGs in the show, but what are you going to do if the premolded frame gets sliced? I mean, I think isn't part of like the tournament rules for Gunpla Battle that you have to use high grades? Because there's like an episode where they fight like a Mega Size or something, and it's seen as like an illegal kit that you can't actually use in the fight. Mip, how the hell do you not have a perfect Pac-Man pick? It's literally like one of the most reprinted kits ever. There's so many of them out there. They're constantly reprinting them. How do you still not have one? I paid $100 for an Elgaim Mark II, but 40 of it was shipping. Yeah, that's a P Bandai moment, all right. I'm assuming you're talking about the new high grade, right? Or are you talking about like one of those old, weird old kits they did of Elgaim? Because I know there's a couple old ones. There's like the high grade / no grade one, and then there's like a Real Robot Revolution or something they called it, where it was like a pseudo master grade. Meanwhile, the high grade G-Reco go for normal price in Hong Kong because they were there ever since they first released. Yeah, depending on where you go, you can probably still find them rotting on shelves somewhere. Perfect Pack just got reprinted, let's go. Yes, it did just get reprinted, like it does several times a year, and every time people get hyped and they go out to buy one, I'm like, why are you guys getting excited? This happens all the time. It's like getting hyped for a Master Grade Buster Gundam reprint or a Master Grade, like, Death Scythe Hell reprint. They keep getting sold out. I was refreshing the page for the Perfect Pack reprint, it was gone. Who's buying them? Dad literally got Klum's Jahamon and a cat sith for me when he went to finish up unfinished business. Nice. Yeah, the GSL Perfect Pack is printed every year. It's printed more than once a year. It isn't since some guy... Oh yeah, that's right. One guy did use a GA. And try they could have large Gunpla, but only if the team was piloting it. Right. The 2007 RRR MG. Okay, that makes more sense. Cause I was like, wow, $100 for the new high grades, like, it's good, but I wouldn't pay $100 after shipping for it. I don't know, but I can tell you who's not buying them, me. Look, man, you'll have probably a near infinite number of choices, or a near infinite number of opportunities to buy one again. Bandai's never going to stop reprinting it. You're incredibly lucky that the Perfect Pack is the kit you're looking for, because that's basically the only thing that gets reprinted from G-Recos, so I think you'll be fine. You'll get one eventually, I believe in you. Tomino buys them all up out of spite. My store got 3 Perfect Packs and they went out on day 1. I legit do not know who was buying them. Man, is this like some sort of money laundering thing? Does like the Mexican cartel specifically use G-Reco Perfect Pack kits to like smuggle cocaine out of the country or something? Like they see one in shipping and they know that if it's a G-Self Perfect Pack, it's got contraband inside of it. IBO 10th anniversary next... Oh, God. Don't say that phrase, man. I don't like the sound of that phrase. IBO 10th anniversary next year. Right. Let's keep building before I feel any older. Perfect Pack is one on the list I want. The other one is the G Lucifer. Yeah, you're not going to find a G Lucifer, man. That's just not going to happen. That is a Phantom Gunpla at this point. You're better off ripping the models from one of the Breaker games and 3D printing it yourself. Put them in Perfect Pack kits, no one will ever look there. Yeah, exactly. Next year is when the Urdor Hunt project releases. I could see that. I could see that. Requiem for a Vengeance is coming out this year, right? So that means that this year we've got Seed Freedom, we've got Silver Phantom, and we've got Requiem for a Vengeance. So it would make sense if they push Urdor Hunt back to next year. IBO 10th and Zeta 40th too, yeah, but I have a feeling that IBO's Actually, no. I could see them giving attention to Zeta as well. In fact, I almost wouldn't be surprised if Zeta gets more attention than IBO on IBO's own anniversary. Maybe that's when we'll finally get our second ever Master Grade IBO kit after 10 years. We'll finally get a Master Grade that's not the Barbatos. We're gonna get something really, really cool and out there like the Barbatos Rex. You know, shake it up a bit. Be exciting. Be adventurous. Maybe even do a Barbatos Lupus. I don't know. That might be a little too risky for Bandai. Maybe they wouldn't do the Barbatos Lupus. I can't believe we're getting a VR movie ahead of Hathaway Part 2. Yeah, man, I hope every single day that the Hathaway 2 movie did not get canceled, because, man, that would be the biggest war crime ever committed in Gundam if they cancel the Hathaway's Flash 2 movie. You don't have to worry about IBO. They already announced for the 45th anniversary they're focusing on G and Wing and X anniversary. What are they even doing for the G Gundam anniversary? I remember they showed off like a character sketch of some new character for G Gundam, but I don't remember what that character was going to be for. They just showed like, hey, here's this new character, and that's as far as it got. HG Zagon, please. Shit's too big for the IBO frame, and it's probably going to be mid, but please make it anyways. Zagon. Is that one of the Gundams from Murder Hunt? I don't remember hearing that name ever before. And MG Barbatos Lupus will give the Bandai employees Lupus. Meanwhile, MGG Self at 11 years and counting. We are not getting MGG Self. We are never getting MGG Self. We will get MGG Self when a third-party company decides to make it. It will literally take someone like Solomon making their own third-party MGG Self for us to have any sort of 1/100 kit of that model. It's just not going to happen. Oh, it's a web novel. That's what the G Gundam thing is. Okay. Because when I think of G Gundam and all the cool, exciting stuff that happened in it, I go, man, I wish I could read G Gundam. I wish I couldn't see anything at all and I was just reading words on a page, because that's the best way to consume this kind of story. I'll take a full mechanics G sub at this point. I do not care. He's 8 in Ground 2.0 when? Probably at some point. I could see them getting... I was going to say I could see them getting real grades before MG 2.0s, but I'm not entirely sure about that. 100 bros... Oh, dude, 100 bros are deceased. The 100 bros are already dead. Like, there's like one MG kit a year that we get nowadays, and everything else is, you know, cool third-party shit. At this point, if you're looking for 1/100 from Bandai, you are just in the wrong place. They've got color separation for the insides of the vents. Let me squeeze this in here. This is a really awkward tiny piece. RG Bros, honestly... Oh, dude, RG Bros are eating good. They are eating so good right now. Real grade has just been banger after banger after banger. Don't mind me just trying to wedge an incredibly tiny piece into another slightly less tiny piece. Basically, there's this gray insert piece that's supposed to go inside this yellow vent, and there is not a lot to grip onto as you're pushing it in. Which from Mercury and Seed got me back into 144th. Yeah, it's not a bad time to be a high grade builder right now. There is some cool stuff, but if you're 1/100, man, good luck. Good freaking luck. Do these even go in at all? This kit flip-flops and back and forth from being the most enjoyable build experience of my life to just literal hell, and it can do so at the drop of a hat. I can be building the leg and going, this is nice, this is fun. These pieces all fit together really nice and well, and then you get the little sub-thumbnail-sized piece that goes into the thumbnail-sized piece, and you have to just crush them together with the force of 1,000 suns to get them to fit. And you're like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm building a third-party kit. I almost forgot there for a couple hours. One potential issue with RG, and that's Akatsuki. Akatsuki is going to be fine, guys. They're fixing the parts of the strike frame that are a problem. It's going to be a great kit. I've built the real grade build strike before. The only parts of the kit that were a problem are the parts that we've already seen are improved and or completely replaced by the Akatsuki. It's going to be totally fine. It is not going to be the next RG Sinanju. RGs sometimes get 2 in a year. Dude, this year we got 3. We got the Akatsuki, we got the 2.0 Gundam, and we got a completely redundant and unnecessary Impulse Gundam as a nice bonus. Can't believe the 144th Regis Z was base exclusive. I can see it. I can understand why they did that. I think it's kind of fair. Because, like, how often does the Regis Z even get reprinted in the first place? It's probably not that popular of a kit. So a really minor update of it, giving it that extra push from being a Gundam base exclusive was probably the best thing they could have done for it. It could also potentially mean that maybe we are getting a more significant... We could also just be getting a more significant update of the Regis Z later on down the line, and they don't want to cannibalize sales from that by having the 1.5 be too available. You know, maybe we're getting our Regis Z Verka in like 3 or 4 years, and they don't want to undermine it with the 1.5. Almost lost it. Might have actually lost it. Nope, it's right here. These pieces suck. It comes with a stand. That alone shouldn't get you worried, dude. It's gonna be fine. The stand doesn't mean it's gonna be a bad kit. The stand's probably there because the gold plating is expensive to add, so they had to throw in something else to make the 9,000 yen kit look like it had more value to it. Been waiting my third-party Stargazer for like 7 months now. Yeah, that's the thing with pre-ordering some of that stuff, is you never really know when it's going to come in. If I do get one of those, I'm just going to grab it off of Gundam Central, because they actually keep their kits in stock. To get a high-grade... Dude, high-grade Regis Z is so cool. I love pretty much the entire high-grade Char's counterattack line. Those are such good models. Those are such good kits. Kind of meant mostly completely... Yeah, if you're saying mostly completely new, then the Impulse would not count. Bro, I'm about to clip the peg completely off this and just glue it in place. This thing is such bullshit. The hips... I don't think the hips are... I can't remember if the hips were a problem on the strike or not. I seem to remember them being pretty okay. The big stuff was the shoulders, which sucked, the hands sucked, the shield connection sucked, and the ankles sucked. And all of those seem to be replaced. HG Shards counterattack kits age well for what they are. They look great. Like they're the proportions, the aesthetic style of them, they look really, really good. And the best thing about it is they did them all at the same time. We got every single mobile suit from Shards counterattack within around a 2-year span, which is so good because I hate it when you have something like Zeta Gundam where yes, we technically have everything from Zeta Gundam as an HGUC kit, but they literally span from the very beginning of the line up to the present day. If you have like a high-grade Hyzak and a high-grade Bolinoic Saman on the same shelf, yes, they're both technically HGUC kits, but they're so far apart from each other, they might as well be completely different lines. Yakdoga is probably the best one. Tech line, the entire line is great. Yeah, they're really cool. I really want to get a Rija Z. I already have the new Gundam. I love it. I want to get a Sazabi, and I want to get a Gyaradoga. Those are all really cool kits. I haven't built the Vercon narrative yet. I have not built it personally, but everyone that I've heard from that built it absolutely loved it. It seems to be a really good kit. Waiting for the Spec 2 sword to be announced. It probably will be. I'm more so wondering if we're going to get the standard Blast Impulse before the Spec 2, or if they're going to do it the other way around to shake things up a bit. Surprised not a lot of Q-Blaze or Kshatriyas from Bandai. The Kshatriya is a giant-ass mobile suit, so it's always a pain to make. And the Q-Blaze got a high grade that's pretty good, so I guess they hasn't been really high priority for them to make another kit of it. For the I feel like the next half hour is just gonna be me trying to force these little vent pieces in. I've already got one in, so I know it can work. I'm gonna try a little longer, get this in. Okay, you know what? Screw it. I said it kind of half as a joke, but I'm actually serious now. I'm just going to clip the pegs off of these and glue them in. F that. Okay. Now we get to find out if this kit's made out of styrene or not. Narrative's basically 2 MGs in one. Yeah, pretty much. Look at China, RG Freedom, and the OG Freedom. Literally a super significant upgrade just like that. Yeah, that's a really cool kit. That is a really, really cool kit. So, where... This way, right? Yeah, okay. So it's this one. I'm going to just clip the... Cuba got revived. You ever think about that? Yeah. They did a retail release for the HWS? Yes, they did. Bandai hates the Blast Impulse. Yeah, unfortunately, they kind of do. I think it's definitely going to get an artery at some point, though. I'm going to use my crappier nippers so I don't risk breaking my god hands doing this, because this is like a bad idea. Alright, here we go. 3D printing nippers. Good way to get an eye full of high-speed plastic projectile. One. Trying to do this without leaving a stress mark on the outside. Is that good enough? Wow. Even with the tab removed. it still really doesn't, it really doesn't want to fit in here. Wow. But maybe? So that piece just rocketed off into the void, and I don't think I've ever cared less about losing a part of a model in my life. I think I might just put the vent in here and see how it looks. Okay, so you can see there's like a little bit of a gap there in the front. The problem is that I was thinking, oh, I can just paint the inside gray, but there is kind of a raised surface. There's kind of a raised surface to the gray piece that's supposed to go in there. I literally just saw it. It went right in my lap. Saw it. I really don't want to have to look for this piece. Not because I don't want to crawl around the floor looking for a part, but because this part doesn't deserve to be found. But I gotta look for it anyways. Not in my clothes, not in my chair. Not immediately next door. Well, I'll see if I can find it later. For now, I'm going to move on to the other leg. I wish the Chinese learned about Bandai's bleed-through color separation where small parts are indeed tied to large... Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. They're definitely not going that route with this kit, though. Yeah, boy, can you tell. Okay, there we go. There we go. Well, if those two went in that easy, maybe it is worth seeing if I can find the other part. All right. Floor time. So, grab my phone so I can do the flashlight trick. Because if you shine a flashlight sideways across the floor, it makes any little objects that are on the floor a lot easier to find. Unfortunately, I haven't vacuumed in several weeks, so my floor is covered in small crap, and none of it is the part that I'm looking for. There's also a little plastic flaps that are really throwing me off because they all kind of look like this part, but they aren't actually this part. Oh, I think the Super Gundam parts Acer is talking about are the ones that come with the... I think the Engage Gundam that has them. Yeah, the Engage Gundam has some Super Gundam-like parts, and I think that's what he's talking about. had a dead fly. That's cool. All right, that's as much as I care about that part. I'm not looking anymore for it. Fuck that. We're just gonna move on. That's not that visible. Yeah, taken by the floor goblins, and you know what? They can keep it. They can keep it. Printer nippers, they go back over by the printer. Okay. 13. I guess I could go in there and paint it, or maybe filling it with putty probably wouldn't work. I don't know. I don't have any plop. I don't think I have any plop plate. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. But it's not my problem right now. mrunner, en. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh, never mind. Okay. I was like, there's no way these dumbasses use the same letter for two different runners. Apparently you get both a gray and a yellow version of the same runner. And I had literally no idea. There is literally zero indication in the manual as to whether or not you're supposed to use the yellow parts or the gray parts. So I've just randomly been switching back and forth between them. I could have been using yellow parts the whole time. I could have been using gray parts the whole time. I have no idea how this thing's gonna look when it's done. There's literally nothing. There is nowhere, anywhere in the manual, where it says the yellow O runner or the gray O runner. So, who knows? We're just gonna have a randomly generated color scheme. Yeah, it gives the kit unique character. Anyways, I still don't know where the M runner is. I would assume it's dark gray. N runner, B runner. You see this a lot with Girl Plow, but they label... Yeah, I've seen this in Bandai kits too. It's not uncommon to have different colored runners that have the same letter if it's a duplicate runner, but they tell you which part to use from which runner. They don't just let you guess. So there's probably some gray vents somewhere on this kit that could have been yellow, and there's probably some... All of these yellow vents here could have been gray if I wanted them to. So if you wanted a more subdued kind of Universal Century early color scheme, you probably could have replaced all the yellow parts with gray. And there's also somewhere on here, there's got to be a few pieces that are gray that could have been yellow. Ah, here we are. So these little accent lines inside of the skirt armor, these could have been yellow instead of gray. There's some pieces, I think, in the shoulders somewhere that could have... Yeah, these little gray lines here could have been yellow instead of gray. So, I guess it is what it is. We'll see how it looks when it's done. Oh. M's the partially painted runner. This needs the metallic green parts. That answers that question. I'm literally facing that colored runner thing with the granddaddy. Thankfully, they tell you. Yeah, they tell you which color parts to use. They'll say, O runner, parentheses, white, or O runner, parentheses, red. They don't just let you guess. And honestly, even if it was a use as you like situation, I would have at least liked if they clarified in the manual, hey, by the way, there's 2 different colors for the O runner. You can use whichever one you prefer. But they don't. They just let you figure it out halfway through the build. Speaking of girl plot, Kodo did kits with runners the same letter that are fundamentally different. Wait, what? Speaking of girl plot, Kodo did kits with runners with the same letter that are fundamentally... Oh, I see, like reusing parts from different kits. So you have like the O runner from the new O runner and the O runner that's like being recycled from a different model. Yeah, I could see that happening. The person who made the manual was colorblind. They had no idea. I mean, honestly, maybe. Like, I genuinely cannot believe that they would make such a massive oversight. Let me take a closer look at this. I want to see the section at the beginning of the manual where they show all the runners. And I want to see if they tell you specifically that there's a difference between the yellow and the gray runner. Hold on. Hold on. It just keeps getting weirder. So, the manual says O runner times 2, as in O runner 1, O runner 2, but it doesn't mention O runner 3 and O runner 4. One of these sets of runners, according to the instruction manual, does not exist. At this point, I'm almost wondering if maybe, I wonder if the yellow versions of these parts are some sort of first release bonus. Like, maybe not every version of the kit comes with these, and this is just a bonus for the first production run. But even then, you would have thought that there'd be some sort of slip in the manual where they would say, hey, this kit comes with an extra set of yellow parts to customize the vents. But there is nowhere in the manual where one of these sets of runners is mentioned. They only say O runner times 2. That's the only mention of this runner in the manual. Literal Gray Zeta situation, yeah. Even Effects Wings clarified the runner colors based on the Fun Psyche build. That's kind of common with the new China Plum manufacturers. They give you free stuff without telling you. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, except for the fact that there was no mention on the site of it having a first release bonus. There's no mention in the manual of a first release bonus. You just get these random yellow versions of a couple of the gray runners. Oh, hey, you're anonymous. Welcome to the stream. So I just discovered on this model kit that I'm building, halfway through the build, that the O runner could mean these runners, but O runner can also mean... Whoop, what the heck? I just lost my window. Let me... Hang on. I need you back. I need you back. I need you back. There. So, O-runner could mean these runners. It could also mean these runners. And I had no idea that there were two O-runners that I was randomly picking parts from both until just now. And I just checked the manual, and after checking the manual, I realized they don't even mention one of these sets of O-runners. They just say that you get two O-runners. So, according to the manual for this kit, the parts that I'm holding in my hands don't exist. Could be a first release bonus, could be something else. I want to praise this kit because it does so many things right, but it's like every 45 minutes, it just throws a massive curveball at me. Whether it's these bullshit pieces inside of the vents, or these hour-long fingers, fuck these things, or random yellow runner that comes out of nowhere. So, really, this kit is just full of surprises. The images of the kit you're looking at are yellow. Yeah, the images show the kit as being yellow, but there also is a gray version of those runners in the box. In fact, I'm going to grab the box right now. So on the box, let me pull this out here. They're showing the shoulder sections as being gray, but they're showing the waist sections as being yellow, and I used gray for those. I'm realizing now, I used gray for the middle section here, when I could have used yellow for that, and I think it would have looked a lot better with yellow. I might actually go in and swap that out. And also, this part's supposed to be yellow. And this part's supposed to be yellow. And these side pieces... Hold on. I built the torso completely wrong. There's supposed to be way more yellow accents on this torso. They're supposed to be yellow here. They're supposed to be yellow here. They're supposed to be yellow here. I've just been building this completely wrong the whole time. There's also supposed to be yellow stripes on the side skirts. Okay, well, once I finish the legs, I'm going to go back and I'm going to update the torso with some of the yellow parts that I skipped over, because I think this would look way better with a yellow vent here. I think it would look way better with yellow up here. So I'm gonna fix that up. A7 and 24. Just gonna finish up these legs real quick, and then we're gonna go back to fixing the torso. What do I need? 7, right? Yeah, that's this piece. The runners are correct, the manual needs an amendment. Yeah. The kit on the box showed a mix of gray and yellow parts coming off of the O-runners, but the manual doesn't mention them and it doesn't clarify which color runner you should be using. It would look okay with all gray, but some of the vents in gray just look too drab. Like the one here on the front of the waist armor. It looks really weird when it's all gray, because usually with Gundams you have a little pop of color around here. Like the classic RX-78 red spot with the yellow chevron. It would look good with all gray, like a mass-produced sort of thing. Yeah, you could. You could do like a Commander version with the yellow accents, and then a mass-produced one with the gray. That would certainly be an option. Or you could use the gray for the sniper type and the yellow for the cannon type version. Well, now the kit's just randomly exploding in my hands. I don't even remember where this was attached. Oh, it's right here? No. It was like this. Halfway through on the Dynamos on my end, I don't know if this is a hot take, but low-key isn't that much of an improvement compared to HD Seed. The high-grade 00 Season 1 kits were an improvement in terms of sculpt, but the actual build quality, the articulation, it wasn't that much better than Seed in that regard. Okay, I think that's that leg done. Yeah, so now this one. Really is the season... Yeah, it is specifically the Season 2 stuff that broke the mold. The Season 1 kits weren't really that remarkable. Especially Exia, that thing's kinda crap. HD 00 Season 1 stuff's not all that great. No, it really isn't. Season 1 was wild because they look great, but they feel super dated. Yeah, they look decent, but one of the worst things about them to me was when they would not use polycaps for joints that should have had polycaps. So you have like bits like the shields on the Dynamos, where they're just a styrene peg going into a hard styrene peg hole. So they inevitably just end up wearing out. And now if you have a Dynamos like mine, you pick it up and the shields just kind of flop around everywhere because there's no more tension left in the joints. 00 Gundam was the one that broke the mold. Yes, it was. Tiny's response to the Sentinel kit isn't that good. Take a look at the Soul Destruction kit for something that's been well received. Honestly, as someone who built Exia, Curious, and now Dynames, Exia is the best of those kits. I would definitely not say that. I significantly prefer Dynames over Exia. Do not like that. Well, I haven't built the Curious. That one could be worse. The lack of polycaps have ruined it. At this point, all my old 00 HGs have loose bits. Yeah, that was a big problem with that era, unfortunately. Oh, I still need the ankle guards. Okay, so I got a ways to go with this. Oh yeah, he also just doesn't have pistols. That's okay though, because you can use the pistols from the Estrella Type F, aka the retroactively fixing all the other 00 kits option parts set that includes a bonus Estrella. Because that comes with basically all the weapons that they didn't include with the entire rest of the line. Alright, fun. Time for some more O parts. Let's see. Do we want these little bits peeking through the thighs to be yellow or gray? I think I want them to be yellow. I think that would be a nice little pop of color. Although actually, I don't know. Maybe gray would be better. It's kind of like a little panel lining detail. I think it would look better with gray. I'm going to use the gray ones. Specific shade of gray reminds me of the new Gundam. It's like a brown. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a brownish tinge to it. It is pretty similar to the new in that regard. There it is. The pistols don't fit in the legs. It's an entirely different connection. Okay, well then I guess the only way to get the pistols really is to get the GN Arms set. Lovely. Some real 2020s Bandai behavior from Bandai in 2008. This is so stupid, holy fuck. Yeah, you gotta go get that out of print $70 model set in order to get the pistols for your $10 high grade Dynamis. Right? There we go. Dynamis does have beam sabers, they just don't work. Yeah, no effect parts. Oh, hey Matt, were you here for the revelation that there's two completely different colored O-runners that the manual makes no mention of? And I've been randomly using parts from both of them for this entire build without any knowledge whatsoever that I was doing so. And that now there's random sections in the kit that are supposed to be yellow that are gray, and random sections that are gray that are supposed to be yellow. Now I'm gonna have to go back and fix all the parts that I've already built to make sure the colors are the way that they should be. So that's with the gray line inserted. I don't know, I think I might actually like the yellow better. See, now I'm going to have to second guess myself every single time I build a part from the O-Runner, because I'm going to be switching back and forth and going, maybe I should make this yellow, maybe I should make this gray. Instead of just, you know, giving me a runner that's, you know, in the correct color. The R4 and R3 were cool and all, then came the device variants and the red innovator four-eyes ones. I really wish Bandai would give X and Dimes a break. I hate that whole, like, metal build variant line so much. It's so stupid. They're just like, hey, we're just gonna keep cluttering up the 00 timeline with all this random crap. That's basically just the same two Gundams with all their parts being shuffled around between each other, just so we can sell more metal builds. It's like Advance of Zeta, but at least Advance of Zeta had the decency to throw some new Gundams in there too. This is just the worst parts of AOZ. And get these separated. Separating parts on this kit is kind of scary. The plastic is not low quality, but it's just flimsy enough that trying to pull parts apart after they've been connected is it's a bit precarious, especially with how tight some of these connections are. I'm glad I'm not the only one who hates to do 00 Reveal Chronicle. Yeah, it's easily my least favorite MSV. To have a free part, you have to get 2 kits to maximize the 2 versions. Yeah, if you want, I guess. Although you're already going to build 2 versions anyways because of the sniper variant and the command variant, so it's just another way to switch up the colors between them, I guess. W100 Shokyu, HD Phantom, Stray Outframe, all great kits. Good choices, good choices. Okay, let's stick these back together. Hope it didn't break any pegs. Good. This one. There we go. I think the yellow looks a little bit better. I don't love how either looks, but I slightly prefer the yellow. This is a safe haven for Revealed Chronicle haters. Yes, it is. Make an honestly, I could see them doing EGXia. I love Exia, but I hate the amount of pointless variants. Yeah, it's a cool design. They just don't need to keep, like, recycling bits of it over and over again. They want to focus on 00, they should make more HGs to the Gen 2 units. Ah, but you see, Revealed Chronicle exists for the Metal Build line, and because Metal Builds are $400 figures, they have to just take the one mold that they made for Exia and make sure they get at least 10 or 15 different variants out of it before they do anything else. Anything less than that would just be unthinkable. It's like they're trying to apply the business model they used for the Seed Metal builds to 00, But because 00 doesn't have striker packs, they just need to make up their own stupid BS as to why they would be able to have those kind of variants in the 00 universe. Honestly, most Bandai kits don't interest me, though I've gone back and forth in the HD Spartan. Oh, dude, go forth. The HD Spartan is really, really good. Okay, G runner, right? Yeah. Nope, that's F runner. G runner. 18? 18. X-Here Repair 23 Triangulum Colors ELS version. Yes. I see you've got some advanced knowledge of our next Tamashii Nations event. Is anyone like, dude, I love 0080. 0080 is awesome. 0080 is probably one of my favorite pieces of Gundam media of all time. That? What an... Is that... That can't be how these are supposed to go. Hang on. Hang on. I need to check the box art again. Okay. No, that's how it is. This kit just has really ugly ankle guards. So this is how the leg looks with the ankle guard attached. So they just float here. They don't connect to anything. They're way wider in the back. And they don't even come close to the front edge of the leg. So instead of looking like a natural extension of the leg armor, he just has this awkward little piece of joint armor shoved up underneath his leg. Underneath the top of the leg here. This rotates, maybe it can... Nope. No, that's just how it is. It just kind of floats like that. This edge is the worst part of it. This is the part that I really don't like, because there shouldn't be a protrusion here at the base of the leg armor. This piece should like overlap over the top of it. But you can't. There's no way to extend the joint out. It's literally just a little ball joint. This doesn't like come out. Because if it was here, if the leg armor was like this, that'd be totally fine. That'd be cool. But it's not like that. It's like this. So, like, literally all they had to do was just make this ball stem slightly longer and the ankle guards would have looked fine. I mean, the HE Tristan just has terrible attitude behind it. They didn't take the build route for... Yeah, that was a very lazily made kit, and they've never made that mistake again. Notice how every time they've used an old mold after the Tristan, they've always gone out of the way to make sure they retooled and updated it. Looks like baggy jeans. It's like... It's amazing how extreme just moving the ankle guard back, like, a quarter inch, just how extreme of a negative impact it has on the visual appearance of the leg. Like, this is not that far off from the standard Gundam ankle guards, but just moving them back a little bit makes them look terrible. That's unfortunate. Oh well. It is what it is. I've seen a Chinese review of it, and they mentioned the awkward ankle armor. Yeah, it's weird. Honestly, if they actually had... If they looked like bell-bottoms, it would have been fine. Bell-bottoms on mechs would have been cool, but these aren't bell-bottoms. If they kept the curve of the leg armor, and these were forward more, so like this line is continued down, it would be totally fine. What messes it up is that they pushed it back. So instead of having a nice smooth line coming out from the leg, you have out, and then in, and then out again for the foot, and it looks so awkward. Okay, I think there's a couple more pieces on the top of the thigh, and then I believe the legs will be done soon. Oh yeah, Dryson has some great bell bottoms. Honestly, Dryson is just peak mecha design in general. Bandai wanted to make some money. They should have made the Rising Freedom Striker pack compatible and the Very Mortal Justice Silhouette pack compatible, and then just printed like a dozen new packs. Yeah, that would have been really cool. Also, you know, Sazabi or that one unit from AC. This is sloppy nonsense. Yeah, it looks so bad. That's really, really unfortunate because it would have been such an easy fix for them to just have that stem be a little longer. I still think about that one video where they just smashed their... Oh yeah, I've seen the Dryson execution video before. Honestly, if I had a Stream Deck or something similar, I would have that as one of those like video macros that I could just pull up from time to time. Getting frustrated building a kit, so I just vicariously vent my frustration by watching him smash a Dryson against the wall. And yes, no intact Rysons were harmed in the making of that video. He used one that was already damaged. Is there a way to get rid of the hard about the comment text box? No, there isn't. I would have to turn it off in the settings. It's called like reactions or something like that. Basically, you can click spam the emote there, and it like makes like an Instagram live or TikTok live style like stream of emojis. It's one of those features that they added to YouTube because every other site has it, but no one on YouTube actually likes using it. There's hearts, I think there's like smiley faces or thumbs ups and like other emotes you can choose from, and you spam the button and it's like a big flood of emotes. Except that no one uses it on YouTube because that has nothing to do with YouTube stream culture here. But hey, if one site adds something, every other site has to find a way to add it as well, apparently. Which there were negative things like a thumbs down or a vomit. But don't you see, YouTube has no room for negativity. That's why they removed the dislike button. Positive reactions only. No matter what the content of the video is. Okay, I'm really glad I switched out the gray parts for the yellow now, because if this was just 3 different shades of gray, that would have looked really, really muddy and lame. So I'm glad I used the yellow there. That was a good choice, considering it's got the lighter gray armor going over the top. They tried to remake the Strike's core gimmick, and then no other kits actually use them. The Zaku's and Doms have wizard packs. Oh yeah, the silhouette packs for the Impulse Gundam. Right. I forgot about those completely. I was actually thinking of the wizard packs when you mentioned that. I mean, they're all basically the same thing, right? Like they use the same connectors. So even if it's not possible in the universe, the wizard and I'm pretty sure the wizard silhouette and striker packs are all compatible with each other. All right, one more piece. Just a couple of. Oh, I don't know. Where's my L runner? There they are. There's one. Now I'm starting to gaslight myself into wondering if there's yellow versions of every other runner now. Like, I pick up a gray runner, I'm like, wait a minute. Is there a yellow version of this one too? Because, I mean, the other yellow runner wasn't mentioned in the manual, and I didn't specifically count how many runners I had, so there could very well just be more random unaccounted for runners in this kit. And I won't even be able to find out until after I'm done building it. Where's my other L runner? N. There's the other. There it is. There it is. The panel lines on the front skirts, I think, look better when they're gray. Nakai Kotsu is ruined kits because... critiquing kits because now everyone's standards are either too tolerant or too intolerant. Yeah, I agree that it kind of extends in both directions, because you see some stupid takes from people where they're like, oh, this kid's more than 3 years old, it's absolute garbage. But then you see the people that are like, no, this absolute piece of shit kit from 25 years ago is totally fine, you're just not building it right. You end up getting both sides of the spectrum, and it's both of them are really dumb. There's one kit that can use the silhouette packs. The Outframe Astray. I did not know the Outframe Astray was designed for silhouette packs. Interesting. They're all unique. The only one that can load all 3 is the Eclipse. Okay, but is that unique in universe or unique in practice? Because like the models, I think, don't they all use the same like center round peg connector for all of them? So you could just switch them around. My guess is either the God Gundam or the Gundams from Stardust Memory as far as Verkaj go. Oh yeah, I think Verkaj GPO1 is pretty likely. Especially now that Solomon kind of embarrassed Bandai with the whole GPO2 situation, they've probably fast-tracked whatever plans they had for Stardust Memory in the future. The outframe's based off the Testament. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at our completed body for the Sentinel. For as much of a headache as parts of this kit have been, and we're still missing this little vent down here, man, this thing looks so cool. This thing looks so cool, and it doesn't even have a head yet. The weight on this thing is insane. This thing weighs like 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds. It's crazy. The color scheme is pretty cool. I definitely need to go back to the upper body and add in some of those yellow accents, though, because they're very clearly missing. I'm thinking yellow here. Or maybe the yellow in there. No, that one's a pain in the ass because I got to rip the whole chest apart to get to it. I definitely want the yellow on there. I want to see if I can get that. There we go. Let me pop the waist off here. The strikers use a flat central peg. I believe the silhouettes and wizards use different double pegs. Okay. Hence the adapters for Eclipse's compatibility. Okay. Saying the RG Arc 78 2 1.0 is perfectly fine as a kid is now just not true. No, it really, yeah. Anyway, shout to MJ for amazing reviews. Yeah, like, even if he wasn't in chat, like, unironically, MJ is, like, one of the few video reviewers that I actually watch nowadays. If I want to see what a new kit's like, I generally just look at whatever, like, Schizophonic or Dalong image gallery of it goes up, and I can generally get a pretty good idea of whether or not I want the kit based off of that. But if on the rare times where I actually want to watch a video review, it's usually going to be MJ. I might actually not be able to get this part out. Yeah, I don't think I can get that out of there. It's kind of... it's wedged in there really tight, so I'm just going to leave that one. But I do want to see if I can get the side skirts to... because with the side skirts, it's really obvious there's supposed to be a stripe of color there. Maybe the yellow was thought out to be used for the Gundam head and the less vibrant colors for the GM head. It's possible, but on the box they show both of them with the same color scheme for the body. I don't watch videos to get gaslit into how cool a model kit is or how graceful Bandai is for blessing us with another P Bandai. Yeah, I mean, like, I get the whole, like, be, like, as, like, positive about everything angle or be hypercritical angle, but, like, really, like, if I'm watching a video review, I want to see, like, an opinion on the kit, and if the person's opinion is always just a really neutral, yeah, this is fine, or they're, like, really hypercritical of everything, I mean... it's just not really that useful as a review at that point. And if you're just watching it for the sake of seeing the kit, then, I mean, that's what, like, Schizophonic's photo galleries are, and those come out way faster than any video reviewer could post something. Missing it? No. There we go. So, let's just see. Since when did a kit manual say start by applying water decals first? What? I've never seen a manual say that. That is insane. Like, I've heard of people painting the parts when they're still on the runners, but I've never heard of putting on the decals before assembling the kit. Back when I did blog reviews, I specifically made a point not to use sort of point system personally, because I don't think numbering a kit always helps. Each kit has strengths and weaknesses, and I'd rather know that to see if a kit's right for me. Yeah, that's definitely a way to do it. I straight up didn't realize the MJ in here was the actual MJ. Yeah, yeah, that is the actual MJ. I get the no kit is bad opinion, but there are definitely better user-friendly kits than others. Yeah, and I mean, if you're going to take the route of like, oh, well, if you customize and modify and improve every aspect of a kit, technically none of them are bad. It's like, okay, yeah, no shit. But clearly there's something wrong with the base model if you need to do all that extra stuff to it. RG Jess just looks amazing, and for some that's enough, but I also like hand feel, and some people like hand feel more. Yeah, I 100%, I understand exactly what it's like to build an RG Justice just from like the videos and pictures I've seen of it, because it looks nice and static, but I've just seen like the way that like the arms droop. I know what that shoulder joint looks like. I've built kits with that shoulder joint before. I've built kits with that type of shield connector before, and I know that they're both absolutely awful. Oh yeah, that is a huge improvement over the gray. That looks so much better. That is definitely how these parts were supposed to look. So I'm going to take the other skirt armor off and replace that one too. Oh yeah, look at that before and after. Look at how much better that looks with the little yellow accent on the side. Before, after. Big improvement. I've 100% seen old tank models say apply decals before removing types. That is crazy. That is, I would never do that. Dalong is very opinionated. Honestly, I sometimes forget Dalong even gives his opinion because I usually just look at the pictures. But yes, you can in fact translate the Korean to English, and then you get gems such as the piece has osteoporosis, which is apparently the Korean word they use for hollow parts. Or I think it was the 1/100 Vertigo review, where they called the chest cannon like the Mega Cock laser cannon or something like that. Not all machine translations are created equal. I think I might have actually clipped and saved that one somewhere. Dude, I don't even think it's Korean humor. I think that it's literally just the translation being just absolutely fucked. Yeah, that looks so much better. I'm not big on the yellow lines on the chest, on the skirt armor here, but this stripe, this little chevron stripe here being yellow, that is a huge improvement. That is big. And even without a head, this thing is just awesome. This is so cool. Worth putting up with the weirdness if this is the end result. Yeah, MJ and Manpick used to both be Hong Kong, but they both left the homeland. They're both overseas now. When Zacharelli's did Plum stuff and wasn't like, holy fuck, how do they get away with these prices? Yeah, that's a little bit, I feel like because he works directly with USA Gundam Store, he probably tries to avoid going in on prices because it can come off as attacking the retailer instead of the manufacturer sometimes. But I think it should be fair to say, hey, the actual manufacturer price on this thing is kind of ridiculous, because sometimes it is. Some companies give you better value than others. Some like Bandai give you a pretty decent value, and then there's other model kit companies where they charge you like insane prices for next to nothing. And then you got like some of these Chinese companies where for like $70 you get like $95 worth of Bandai kit. On the holsters, it's like night and day. Yeah, it's a huge difference. And there's all sorts of places like this around the body that I probably missed the yellow parts on. So I'm thinking this piece up here, this piece I might want to switch out. And I think it should just be resting. Oh, crap, it's recessed in. I can't get it out. Okay, I like the gray on the sides here. Maybe I'll leave this gray. I want something to be yellow on here, though. I feel like it's weird that there's no yellow on the upper torso. It was fine when I was building it, but now that the rest of the kit's built, the fact that it's yellow on every part of the body except the torso is just strange. Oh, there we go. Pulls right out. So I'll grab the yellow version of that piece. There's a lot of old model kits where you're basically signing your death warrant if you follow the instructions. Lovely. Kits upon reviews are nice for the photo quality and the insights they make when comparing kits would some of their own subjective thoughts. I've built so many kits now at this point that I really don't care about anyone else's subjective opinions on them, because I can pretty quickly assess just by looking at a model whether or not it's going to be a good kit for me and whether or not it's going to be something that I like building. So I really don't mind if a particular reviewer doesn't go into any detail about the actual kit itself and just shows off the features. But I remember when I started getting into Gunpla, it was kind of frustrating if people didn't actually give an opinion on the kit. Because I didn't know anything about Gunpla at the time, and it was kind of hard to figure out clear information about some things. There's all these pieces that fall off when I'm fiddling with the kit, but when I'm actually trying to take them off, they're just adhering themselves down. There we go. Okay. I think that's good enough. Good? No? Tightly pat you down in there. Nope. You were just a pain in the ass. That comes apart. Take the arms off. I can get in here a little better. Too objective and you become worthless. Yeah. Nope. They really could have used a couple more tabs in this chest construction. Too many pieces are just held on by the part that's on top of them. Like a house of cards. There we go. Oh yeah, that's better. That's better. Just a little bit of yellow on the chest. Just enough. Just enough to give it a little pop of color. I hope the Disc Bay 3.0 nippers last a few years. Oh yeah, they're good quality nippers. Those are gonna be fine. Those are gonna serve you well. There we go. That's better. Now the torso looks more congruent with the rest of the design. And yeah, there was a new HG Maxter that's P Bandai. Imagine if they made the actual Shuffle Alliances kits the ones that transform into emblems. That's something that I could see Robot Spirits doing, but I don't think they'd ever make models of. Character action figures more desirable. Yeah, I think there's a lot of... I think they could go a long ways with some mobile fighter pilot figurized standards, like a figurized standard Master Asia, do a Rain, do a Domon. There's a lot of potential there. I also feel like Shuffle Lines is a funny meme. I mean, to be fair, almost everything from G Gundam is a funny meme. Nippers don't require oil or anything. I mean, you can oil them if you want. It's probably going to make them last longer. I don't oil my nippers, and they're not in the greatest shape, but I've had these for like 6-ish years now, and they're still fine, so I think you're probably going to be okay. I'm still in an era from where P-Bandai cuts into molding is weird. Yeah, that's just the norm now. At least it's not too bad if you're in the United States, because we have our own P-Bandai shop now, so you can order those kits pretty easily. Bandai knows about Japan, they've never heard of the outside world. I mean, I feel like they're adapting to it, but they're doing it so very, very slowly. You know, I'm kind of getting Mass Builder vibes from this. Any of you guys play Mass Builder, the totally not Gundam Breaker inspired game that's on Steam? It's got really in-depth customization. It's got combat that's decently fun. It's got a lot of options. It's got some cool mecha parts that you can use to build and customize your own mecha. This really does feel like something from Mass Builder. It's in that Gundam general aesthetic category, but it's definitely not something that's actually from Gundam. It doesn't have articulated toes. It has a mid-foot bend, which actually goes down more than it goes up. Oh no, never mind, it goes up too. It goes both directions, down and up, but there's no articulation for the toes. Quite unfortunate, because you're not going to be able to all those great feet pics. You know, there's like... Oh my god, I just remembered the most cursed thing that I saw recently. So... You know how with like SH Figuarts or Figma figures, a lot of times they will give you different hand options. So you'll get closed fists, you'll get open relaxed hands, you'll get like reaching out hands, you'll get pointing hands, you'll get like peace sign hands. They'll do a bunch of different hand options for their figures. So anyways, Snail Shell made this like succubus nun figure. And as an optional part set for it, in addition to alternate hands, they gave her alternate feet. So she's got feet with her toes pointed, feet with her toes splayed, feet with her toes kind of curled around this way. They give you like all the different foot poses for all the like weird stuff you might want to do with your figure. And I've never seen that before in a figure, but you think about it and it's like, okay, as degen as that is, I kind of get it. It does kind of make sense. Yeah. Chat's like 30 seconds behind the stream, but John already knows exactly what I'm about to say. Before I even said it, he already knew. Still can't believe you guys have P-Bandai. Yeah, it's really cool. We have P-Bandai in the United States now. Figurized Rinko, a man can dream. Honestly, I'd love a figurized Rinko, unironically. They'd 100% do a figurized Alenby or Rain. Yeah, I could definitely see them doing Rain. I'll stick to Suffering and Battle Operation 2. Man, I hope you're not talking about Battle Operation 2 on PC. What if you are, like, man, why are you putting yourself through that? I used to play Mass Builder, but I don't have the time for it anymore. I come back to it from time to time. I really like what they did with it. It'd be interesting to look at that again and kind of see what maybe Gundam Breaker 4 could learn from it in terms of, like, just little features and quality of life stuff, because there's a lot of really nice... There's a lot of things that I really like about Mass Builder that Gundam Breaker doesn't necessarily do. If you want model kit toes, get Dan. Look, I only ironically like feet, okay? I don't actually like feet. That's so cringe. Anyways, what the kit called? It's a figure, and it's made by Snail Shell. I don't remember the name of it, but it's their newest figure, so if you look up Snail Shell figure, you're probably going to find it. One of them's it's two figures, actually. I'm remembering now. It wasn't a succubus nun. They did a succubus and a nun as two separate figures, and they both come with the optional foot parts. Yes, it's major foot fetish bait. Two different figures, the succubus and the nun. I'm pretty sure that they are an optional add-on, yes, because they knew that most of their audience, even if they were buying that figure, would not be degen enough to want the alternate feet. We must have a link to the alternate feet so we can avoid them at all costs. Oh, dude, why are you putting yourself through Jibo 2 on PC? Just stop, man. It's not worth it. It is so not worth it. Just play Armored Core or something. You deserve better than that. I love Macross feet that fold to make the jet intakes. Yeah, that's cool. How much is it and where can I buy it? I think it's like 20 bucks for the foot add-on. They sell them on Hobby Search. And yeah, Hobby Link Japan probably has them too. I'd send you guys a link in chat, but I can't really have my mouse and keyboard set up on the build stream because the space that I build on is the same place I normally have my mouse and keyboard, so I have to kind of shove all that stuff off the desk in order to do these streams. Which is a shame, because I'd like to be able to switch from, like, these weird tangents to the kits and back and forth, but, Actually, you know what? I'm realizing now I shouldn't pull these up on stream, because I just remembered the succubus figure is actually cast off, so I probably shouldn't be showing pictures of that on stream. But yeah, there's Snail Shell's getting pretty spicy with their last couple releases. Yeah, Armored Core is super fun. I'm pretty much done with it, but I like playing my Alex and Jim custom. It's so tempting. I get it, man. You know, there's Gundam Battle Operation 2 has like everything from the Universal Century, so it fulfills all your weird, obscure Gundam superfan fantasies. But as soon as you get in game, it is just a miserable experience. I think I spent like 2 hours playing Gundam Battle Operation 2, and most of those 2 hours was rolling gacha and looking through the roster, and I think maybe 10 minutes was content, and for every second of those 10 minutes, I wanted to just fling myself out a window. It was one of the worst gameplay experiences I've had in a Gundam game. I am a proud Gundam Battle Operation 2 hater, and that wasn't even... I didn't even get into the online. That was just like the mission against bots at the beginning, because you couldn't get into online because the online for the PC is just absolutely fucked. Yes, she's got knockers too. Despite being over 20 years old, the high-grade High-Gog holds up. Yeah, for some of those simpler mobile suits from the earlier shows, even if you have an older kit of them, they're still pretty decent. You got a massive pair of personalities. Yes, she does. Naughty bits as well. Almost certainly. Asymmetrical legs for GB4. Hopefully. I don't think so. No. I think they just showed the arms. Asymmetrical legs would be a lot harder because you'd have to account for it with the walking animation. Because the arms is easy, but with the legs, like if you have really differently shaped legs, it's going to make some of the animations look weird. The 1P Bandai kit I want is an extended arm add-on for the Shenlongs, just extra arm segments. Yeah, I could see that as like an add-on kit. AC6 is just great. Yes, it is. I'm in an abusive relationship with Jibo 2. Jibo 2 on PC is awful. I definitely spent a lot of time just in the shop going, oh, look. Yes, like I said, 2 hour stream, 1 hour and 50 minutes of it was spent in the shop because boy, do those Gundams look nice, and boy, do those mobile suits look nice, and 99% of them is really cool, obscure stuff we're never going to get kits of, but man, is it fun to look. In fact, if you want to really get something useful out of Battle Operation 2, I actually found some ripped models for the game, and I was playing around with one of them in Blender, and I separated like the highest poly version of the model, and I cleaned up the edges, and I sealed all the faces, and normalized everything, and got it all nice and proper, so I could print out my very own giant domal head. Now, as you can see, it is a little low poly. If you look at it from the top, these flat edges aren't supposed to be here. It's supposed to just be a smooth curve around. But you can totally 3D print Gundam Battle Operation models if you really want to. And this was on just a cheap FDM printer. This isn't resin or anything. I want to get a resin printer at some point, but it's kind of fumey and kind of messy, and I don't really have a place to set it up right now, so I'm just working with FDM at the moment. But even then, like, that's a nice domal head. Now, you'd have to add articulation yourself if you were doing like a 1/100 of this or something, which would be kind of challenging, but I mean, I'm kind of happy even just with this. I don't know if I'd print out the rest of the body at this scale. It would be kind of crazy to just have like a giant domal, but I do love the domal, so maybe I'll do it anyways. The only part of the print that I really didn't like how it came out was the front of the nose here. Unfortunately, the bottom section here kind of slipped on the support, so you can see it kind of distorted out the bottom of the nose to the side slightly. But he's got his little mono eye molded in there. All the details pretty much are there. And this is, again, just on an FDM printer, and I wasn't even using like really slow settings or anything. I was just printing at the normal speed, slightly smaller layer lines than default. And yeah. Would it kill them to come up with a Star Wars Squadron type of Gundam game? I think that would be kind of cool. You talk about like Rogue Squadron on the GameCube, because that was fun. That was fun. That was like one of like 4 games I had on the GameCube, but I played it a lot. Someone's gonna make Gunpla from this. Yep. I can commission all sorts of stuff. Yes, you can. You can. Every single 3D model from Jibo 2 has been ripped from the game. They are available on the internet. It's technically sort of in kind of a piracy gray area, so I'm not going to say directly where you can get them, but I will tell you it's very, very easy to find them, so you should not have any issues tracking them down. They're all there, they're all available, everything in the game. People are actively ripping new models as they're added to the game, so if it's in Jibo 2, you will probably be able to track it down and print it yourself. You don't have to rip the models yourself, DatCat. They're literally just online. I'm fine with having hand-painted statues of some Jibo 2 suits. Time to build my own 1-to-1 gym custom statue to put in front of my house. Unironically, you actually probably could, because you can scale up or down these models as much as you like. You could make like a cosplay with one of these, actually. Just scale up the parts really big, cut out the insides. You know, there's a lot of potential with this. And you have all the weapons and stuff too. You don't need to rip the models. Yeah, so I made them. Making them printable is the tedious part, because game models are not designed for 3D printing. You have lots of overlapping vertices and lots of edges that don't fully meet together and missing faces. So basically what you have to do is you have to separate out the different levels of detail, because when you get the model, it's every single LOD of the model and they're all stacked together. The really blocky, low poly, far away model, and you have the super high poly close-up model. And you have to separate those apart from each other, and that's kind of tedious. But once you do, you have a really nice looking model that you can work off of. And once you have that, you can go in and you can kind of just get everything, you kind of join all the faces and vertices together. It takes a bit of doing. I'm not good with Blender, but I'm good enough that I'm kind of comfortable doing stuff like this. And it honestly was more so tedious than it was difficult. The hardest part for me was this little overlap between the bottom of the crest and the helmet here, because this little pointy bit at the very bottom here, the underside of this had basically no geometry. So pretty much this entire tip of the visor here, I had to model from scratch. So that was kind of annoying. But aside from that, most of this was really not that hard to do. A lot of Booleaning, a lot of highlighting vertices and generating a face between them, a lot of merging vertices that are on the same location. It takes a little bit of doing this, but if you're willing to put in the work, it's not that bad of an end result. So yeah, I've actually had this for a while now. I've meant to pull it out on stream, and you guys just reminded me with the whole GBO2 conversation that this is, in fact, a fun little thing you can do. And there's actually a lot of Gundam games that have models ripped. There's one called, I think it's literally just called Gundam Battle, and it's like a Chinese mobile game version of Extreme Versus. It has hundreds of units in it, and most of them are Gundams that we already have models of, but there are a few like the Night Gundam that don't have models yet, and I have tried. Actually, you know what? I did try printing out part of the Night Gundam. Where is it? Do I have the part? Here it is. Found it. So this is a Night Gundam sword that I printed. Unfortunately, because it's so small and detailed, I wasn't able to really properly render it with the printer. But this is the sword for the Night Gundam. It's not quite 1/144th scale. I think I scaled it down a little too much. But I really want at some point to print out the Night Gundam as well, because it's one of my favorite Gundams. There's no guide, Cat. This is the kind of territory where you're basically in just figure shit out yourself zone. I would recommend looking at YouTube tutorials for how to make a 3D model printable. Some basic Blender tutorials, learn how to do like the basic functions in Blender. But once you figure all that out, there's a lot of stuff you can do. So, like I was saying, Gundam Battle, it's a Chinese mobile game. Has a couple hundred units in the game. All of them have models that have been ripped and uploaded. There are a few, like the Night Gundam, that are exclusive. Oh, hang on, is there a stream issue right now? Are you guys having a... Let me, hang on. Oh yeah, I've got some bad... My network is just completely dead right now. Sorry about that. Hang on. It looks like it's kind of working. No. Yeah, my that's annoying. I could see when I checked the stream on my phone